What's up, my friend? Today, I'm just gonna explain to you why you should try and fix your fucked up feet. Alright? Sorry to say it, but a lot of people's feet, they have a nice bend in their big toe. Alright? And this causes a number of problems, right? Especially if you want to become, I don't know, like a more athletic, just a healthier person in general. And it could be causing a lot of the pain in your life as well. Because if you think about it, the way you interact with the world generally starts from the feet, right? The way you interact with the ground, the way that your legs are positioned, all the way up your spine to your head, right? It starts with the feet, right? And so if those are messed up, right? If they're not strong, if they're in a weird bent position, the way they're not meant to be, it's gonna be kind of weird. Like, I was listening to this podcast on it, and it really shook me. I was like, you know what? I actually really need to fix my feet. Right? And I've been trying to do it for a while now, but I think now is the time that I'm really going to try and focus on fixing my feet more, because this is the time that I'm, trying to become more athletic, all that stuff. So here's how I'm going to fix my feet and how you can possibly do the same, right? First things first, right? Try and find different shoes, right? Because 90% of most shoes nowadays are actually pretty garbage. They're in this like weird oval shape that squishes your big toe in, squishes your toes in general, and therefore like puts your foot in that weird position that isn't optimal, right? And if you play a sport, you're just gonna have to take the L sometimes. Like for me, I have these cleats here. They have like it's a soccer cleat, right? And so they go in like it's like an oval shape, right? And so my feet get squished. So if you play a sport, you're gonna have to take the L whenever you're practicing, right? But whenever you're outside of practice, it's even more important that you do this so that you can actually fix your feet more, right? I think you've seen pro athletes like LeBron James, how his feet look, right? Usain Bolt. Their feet are awful. Why? Because they've been stuffing their feet into those shoes day in and day out because they want to become legends, right? That's just how it is. But you don't have to have the same kind of feet. Right, you can actually have like regular feet. I'm very confident in that fact. Right, you just have to do the proper work afterwards to try and fix them. Anyways, let's talk about fixing your feet, shall we? Fixing our feet, because all of our feet are pretty messed up. Right, first things first, like I said, change up your shoes. Right, try and get some like barefoot minimalist shoes that aren't that, or at the bare minimum get just wider toed shoes. Right? I'm sure you could find shoes that are like just wider at the toe so your toe isn't getting like smashed in. Right? And even if they're not the most stylish, even though they're not like, I don't know, like the new Nike Jordans or whatever. I'm not a shoe guy. But even if they're not that, just consider, what is your health worth, right? Do you want crappy feet? Or do you want do you want crappy feet with like new stylish shoes? Maybe, right? Depends. I mean, if you want, go ahead. Or do you want healthy feet that will help you walk around with less pain just in general, right? You'll have better looking feet. I don't know if that's a very good pro, but you won't have like weird bunion feet. That's a good pro. And you're more comfortable, right? Even if they don't look as good in the shoe, right? Even if the shoe doesn't look as sexy or whatever, right? So just weigh them both, okay? So consider that, right? Just getting a different kind of shoe, right? What I'm going to get with my next paycheck is a pair of like these barefoot shoes, right? They're basically, it's like just the sole pad and like a little bit of stuff, so it's like an actual shoe, right? And it's gonna have like a wider toe box. I might even get the ones that you've probably seen, the ones that are like actually the individual toes. I might actually get a pair of those because I think that'd be pretty interesting to walk around in those. But those are the kind of shoes that I'm considering. Now, if you're like just getting into this, right, I don't actually think that that's the best strategy to go in immediately, to get like the barefoot minimalist shoes. Just start out lightly, because if you like instantly change up your footwear, your feet are going to be like absolutely destroyed. Your feet are going to hurt, right? Because they're so weak and soft, right? Like I remember switching in the beginning when I was playing soccer. Whenever I was like running around in like newer cleats, or just in the beginning of my like playing soccer, my feet would hurt so bad running around because the sole isn't that supportive because my feet were soft, right? And the sole on soccer cleats is literally just like, it's just the base of the boot basically, right? So they're not ultra comfortable, right? My feet would hurt so bad afterwards. Like it felt like they were burning, right? Because my muscles were like trying to adjust. So it takes a little bit for you to kind of get used to a harder surface, a more tough surface, because for so long we've been used to these comfortable like cushion pads, right? But that's not the proper way our feet are meant to be, right? So maybe you can start with just walking barefoot around your house, right? If you don't already do that, like you should be doing that, right? Maybe go walk around in your yard or something, right? Obviously make sure there's no like nails or whatever, right? That would be bad. But go out and like just walk on some grass, some dirt, right? Obviously just make sure you're being aware of where you're walking. You don't want to step in anything sharp that would like stab you. That would be no bueno. Okay, so start with that, right? Just get some texture underneath your feet to strengthen them, right? Go into some sand, right? If you have sand, and just like crunch your toes some, right? Like I know that sounds kind of weird, but you need to strengthen your feet. All right, so I've kind of gone over that, but now let's talk about why, right? Beyond just the bunion feet, right? Like I said in the beginning of this video, your feet are like the beginning of where you interact with the planet, right? And the way you interact with gravity, right? And as you go up the chain, it can lead to different things, right? So if your feet are off, it could be altering the way maybe your foot lands on the ground, and that could affect your knee. It could affect your hip. It could affect your lower back. It could affect your neck, because it's all connected up in the chain, right? And so if one link is broken, right, or weak, the rest of the chain upwards is going to be kind of messed up, or downwards, right? Right? So your feet can lead to knee problems, to back problems, to hip problems, yada, 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 right? So just make sure that you just understand that, right? And so if you have like hip problems or like low back problems, maybe it's not the low back itself. Maybe it's some positioning thing, right? Obviously, it may not just be your feet, right? But start from the ground up, right? See if your feet are weak, if your shins are weak, if your knees are weak, right? If your legs are weak, if your low back is weak, right? Like you got to go up the chain and just figure out where the problem spots are and strengthen those pieces, right? And this is something that I'm going to be trying to do myself, right? Is strengthen my feet, right? Because my feet are weak. But yeah, what else? Yeah. So the way I'm doing it, really, to correct my feet posture, because I think that's what it really is. It's just like the posture of your big toe is probably the biggest factor there, right? The way I'm doing this is I'm going to be wearing, like, I wear like toe separators. I need more like bigger ones, right? To like spread my toe out more. But I'm doing that just to keep my toes from being smashed all the time. I'm going to be like, what I do is when I'm at work, so I'm working as a lifeguard, right? So I'm walking around basically barefoot. I walk around and I make sure I splay my toes out, right? And this is very technical, but there's a muscle on the inside of your foot that probably isn't being used as much, right? You can try to feel it right now, but on the inside of your foot, right, that you would imagine pulls your big toe out. For a lot of people, that's weakened because all of our toes are slanted this way, right? Or slanted like outwards towards our other toes, right? If you can just imagine pulling, like having that muscle pull the toe into the correct position, and you can kind of feel it on the inside of your foot, that's the muscle that I'm talking about. I don't know what it's called, but that's the muscle that pulls the toe out, right? That one is weak. You need to strengthen it if you want to have like better toe posture, right? And the other thing is the muscle on the inside that's pulling your toe this way is tight, right? So you need to massage it and like loosen it up, right? So in combination, what I'm doing is I'm loosening up that muscle that's, pulling the toe this way, strengthening the muscle that pulls the toe this way, right? So eventually, as I progress it, my toe should like fix itself, as long as I'm changing up the way I'm like wearing my footwear, right? I'm not wearing feet, like stuff that squishes my toe in, and I'm wearing those toe spacers to make sure that it doesn't, like, that it stays out, right? So it can stretch the muscle that's pulling it in and strengthen the muscle that pulls the toe in the correct position. Oh, that was a big mouthful. Anyways, if I could wrap this, like, I get this video is kind of like a bit of a blab, I guess, but I think it's important. I'm being honest, because for a while my feet have been kind of messed up. I look at my feet now, and they're not as bad, but holy crap, man, it just doesn't seem right that so many people's feet are like they're pushed to the outside or smooshed in, right? Like I don't know if you should look this up, but there is this thing called Chinese foot binding, where these women would, stuff their feet into like size 2 shoes or something ridiculous for their entire lives, because apparently tiny feet were like very attractive back in the day in China, right? They would do that and their feet would become so deformed and ugly, right? But you can imagine the kind of problems that they would have, right? Because their feet are just like they're in a ball, right? That's not okay, right? And so how can it be okay for us to be in a slightly bigger ball, right? Because our feet are still being smushed, right? It's not a natural position. It's not going to allow you to be as healthy as a person as you can be. So just consider it, right? Again, if you play a sport where you can't really find, footwear that kind of works with you, you're just going to have to take the L, and that's okay, right? Because you want to have fun playing the sport, not worry about your feet constantly. I completely understand that. Just take the necessary steps outside of practice, outside of games, to fix them, right? Walk around barefoot, buy some barefoot shoes, ease into it, right? Don't go in 100% all at once. And just progress it. Fix your feet over a longer period of time. Like, I'm not saying you need to fix your feet right away, because it's probably not going to happen, right? Just slowly progress them. Just keep this in mind as, you train and progress everything else in your life, because it might be a limiting factor in your growth. Yeah, that was a lot of yapping. I hope this video helped you out, bro. I know it's kind of a niche topic, but I think it's important. Your foot health does matter. Yeah, that's all I got, bro. If you like what I'm saying, go subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. Be better and have a W day.